Welcome to episode 40 of your CySA Plus Prepcast. In this episode, we turn our focus to one of the most foundational technical practices in cybersecurity, hashing and file integrity monitoring. These techniques allow cybersecurity analysts to detect unauthorized file changes, verify the authenticity of critical data, and confirm whether a file matches a known threat signature. Whether you're validating backups, checking file transfers, or conducting forensic investigations, a solid understanding of hashing principles and integrity tools is essential. These skills are directly tested on the CySA Plus exam and are a core part of any real-world cybersecurity operations program. Let's begin by clearly defining what hashing means in cybersecurity. Hashing is a cryptographic function that transforms data of any size into a fixed-length string of characters known as a hash or digest. This hash value is unique to the input data, meaning even the slightest change to the original content will generate a completely different output. In cybersecurity, hashing is not used for encryption or confidentiality. It's used for integrity verification. Analysts use hashes to verify whether files have been altered, to match files against malware databases, and to ensure forensic data has not been tampered with. Some of the most commonly used hashing algorithms include MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256, and SHA-512. Although MD5 and SHA-1 were widely used in the past, they are now considered less secure due to the discovery of collision vulnerabilities, where cases where two different files produce the same hash. Today, cybersecurity professionals prefer SHA-226 or SHA-5012, which offer stronger protection against these rare but significant risks. The exam may ask you to choose an appropriate hashing algorithm or evaluate whether a hash is considered collision-resistant and secure for current use. A core use of hashes in cybersecurity is for identifying known malicious files. Threat intelligence platforms, antivirus vendors, and malware sandboxes often publish hash values of malware samples. When an analyst encounters a suspicious file, they can compute its hash using a tool like SHA-256-SUM or HashCalc and compare it against known bad indicators. A match confirms the file's malicious nature, enabling quick containment. Analysts often scan endpoints or network shares with scripts that look for specific /256 values tied to malware. The CySA Plus exam may present you with a file hash and ask how to use it during an investigation. Hashing also forms the backbone of file integrity monitoring, or FIM. This technique involves calculating and storing the hash values of critical system files, executables, or configurations at a known good point in time, then comparing those values periodically to check for changes. If a file's hash suddenly differs from its baseline, it indicates that the file has been modified and may be compromised. Analysts use FIM tools such as Tripwire, OSSEC, AIED, and Windows file integrity mechanisms to automate this process. On the exam, you may be asked to select tools that support file integrity monitoring or interpret a hash mismatch alert. These file integrity monitoring systems are often configured to alert analysts when unauthorized changes occur in directories that should remain static, such as system32/bin, or registry keys controlling startup behavior. Analysts can set thresholds, apply exclusions, and integrate FIM alerts into SIM platforms to correlate with other suspicious activities. This integration streamlines detection and response workflows. Expect to see questions on how to configure or respond to file integrity alerts, especially when they coincide with other indicators of compromise. Hashing is also vital during incident response. When analysts collect data from compromised systems, they hash each file, memory, image, or network capture and log that value to ensure the integrity of the evidence. If the hash value of a forensic image changes at any point during analysis, it indicates the data has been altered, whether intentionally or accidentally, and may no longer be admissible in legal or compliance contexts. This practice protects the chain of custody and ensures credibility. On the CySA Plus exam, you may be asked how hashes are used during forensic collection and what tools verify evidence integrity. Hash-based allow listing, also known as application whitelisting, is another important control. Instead of blocking known bad files, this approach restricts execution to a list of known good hashes. If an executable's hash doesn't match a value on the allow list, it is prevented from running. This method dramatically reduces the risk of malware execution, but must be updated carefully as legitimate software patches can change file hash. Allow listing tools include Microsoft AppLocker, HashDeep, and Cylance Protect. You may be asked about allow listing strategies and how hash validation supports execution control in a secure environment. Hashing also allows analysts to scan entire systems or networks for files that match known malicious or unauthorized hash values. These scans can be scripted with tools such as PowerShell, Linux Bash scripts, or commercial EDR platforms. When hashes are found on multiple systems, it often indicates lateral movement or widespread compromise. Hash scanning can be scheduled or events triggered to continuously monitor environments for emerging threats. On the exam, you may be given a scenario involving hash-based detection across endpoints and asked how to proceed. Understanding hash collisions is essential when selecting appropriate algorithms. A collision occurs when two different inputs produce the same hash output, which should be mathematically improbable. Weak algorithms like MD5 are now susceptible to collisions and are unsuitable for verifying file integrity in security-sensitive contexts. Analysts must select algorithms like SHA-256 or higher to reduce the risk of false validation or manipulation. You may see exam questions comparing hashing algorithms or explaining how hash collisions impact file verification accuracy. Finally, analysts use hashes for fast comparisons across large datasets. For example, in a malware analysis lab, analysts may compute hashes of all received samples to identify duplicates or detect modifications. In a vulnerability scan, file hashes can verify which binaries match known vulnerable versions. Hash comparison also supports internal audits, backup integrity checks, and recovery validation. For the CySA Plus exam, focus on knowing when and where hashing improves operational efficiency and enhances the integrity of investigative findings. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are more security courses on cybersecurity, and more at baremetalcyber.com. Now that we've explored the foundational principles of hashing, what it is, which algorithms are used, and how analysts leverage it to verify file integrity and identify malicious files, let's continue with the operational and investigative applications of these techniques. In this second half of the episode, we'll examine how analysts apply hashing for digital signature validation, integrate it with security platforms, secure file transfers, verify backups, and harden incident response workflows. These real-world applications are not only crucial for day-to-day cybersecurity operations, but are also directly tested on the CySA Plus exam. Mastery of these use cases ensures you can detect tampering, maintain trust in your data, and uphold high standards of forensic and operational integrity. One major use of hashing in cybersecurity is digital signature verification. Software publishers and file creators often apply cryptographic digital signatures to files to confirm authenticity. When a file is signed, a hash of its contents is generated and encrypted with the private key of the signer. When users receive the file, their systems decrypt the hash with the signer's public key and compare it to the hash generated locally. If the values match, the file is both authentic and unaltered. Analysts verify these signatures during investigations, patch validations, and software deployment reviews to ensure no tampering has occurred. The exam may ask you how digital signatures work, or how to confirm a file's authenticity using hashing. Hashing also plays a key role in securing file transfer processes. Whether you're transferring forensic evidence, sending log files to a third-party analysis partner, or uploading backups to a cloud service, hashes ensure that what is sent is exactly what is received. Analysts compare the hash value generated before transfer with the one computed after transfer. If they differ, it indicates corruption, interference, or tampering. This is especially useful for verifying the integrity of large files or confirming whether compressed archives were altered in transit. CySA Plus scenarios may present file transfers with differing hash results and ask how to respond or troubleshoot the discrepancy. Analysts frequently integrate hashing into larger security platforms like SIEMs, EDRs, and threat intelligence databases. SIEMs may include logs or alerts referencing file hashes from malware detection events or data loss prevention triggers. EDR systems monitor executable launches and file changes, reporting associated hash values to help identify suspicious activity. Threat intelligence platforms catalog malicious hashes from global feeds and local investigations. Analysts use these platforms to match observed hashes with known indicators of compromise, rapidly identifying threats and prioritizing response. On the exam, you may be asked how to act on a hash alert seen in SIEM, or how to enrich a detection using external intelligence sources. Hashing also enhances password security through the concept of salting. While this is more of a security engineering concern, cybersecurity analysts must understand how password hashes are generated and how salting protects against cracking attempts. Salting involves adding random data to each password before hashing it, ensuring that even identical passwords yield different hash values. This protects against rainbow table attacks and reduces the risk of compromise if a credential database is leaked. Analysts who monitor authentication events may encounter hash manipulation during credential stuffing or brute force attacks. You may be asked on the CySA Plus exam to explain how salting strengthens password storage or why unsalted hashes are a vulnerability. Maintaining accurate file integrity monitoring requires analysts to update baselines regularly. After approved software updates, patch installations, or configuration changes, analysts must recalculate and securely store new hash values for the modified files. Failure to do so results in false positives, alert fatigue, or worse, missed detections when legitimate changes are confused with malicious alterations. Analysts document these changes as part of change control processes and ensure FIM tools reflect the new known good state. On the exam, expect questions that involve updating baselines or interpreting file changes during scheduled maintenance periods. Another area where analysts apply hashing is during analysis of network captures, or PCAP files. These captures often include files or payloads transferred during suspicious sessions. Analysts extract these artifacts and compute their hashes to determine whether they match known malware or previously observed payloads. This step confirms whether a threat was transmitted and whether it was part of a larger campaign. Analysts use tools like Wireshark or Network Miner to extract payloads, and tools like VirusTotal to compare hash values. The exam may present a scenario where you analyze a PCAP and ask how hashing confirms the payload's risk. Hash indicators are also used in YARA rules, pattern matching rules for identifying malware. While most YARA rules focus on strings, binary sequences, or structure, analysts often include hash references in detection logic. For instance, a rule might look for a known string embedded in a malicious document and flag it only if the hash also matches a known variant. This layered approach helps reduce false positives and increases confidence in alerts. Analysts share these rules across organizations, improving threat detection coverage. On the exam, you may encounter a YARA rule using a hash and be asked what it targets or how to use it effectively. Hashing plays a key role in backup validation. Organizations rely on backups for disaster recovery, but if the backups are corrupted or altered, recovery can fail or even reintroduce malware. Analysts use hashing to validate backup images, snapshots, and database exports. By comparing the original hash with the backup version's hash, they ensure data remains unaltered over time. Some backup platforms automatically include hash validation checks, while others require manual verification. You may be asked on the exam how to confirm backup integrity or detect tampering using hash data. Training in hashing techniques is ongoing. Analysts must regularly practice creating hash values, validating integrity during forensic investigations, comparing large file sets, and responding to false positives or hash mismatches. Labs that simulate malware detection, file tampering, or corrupted backups help analysts build hands-on familiarity. Understanding which hashing algorithms are appropriate for different scenarios, such as forensic imaging versus email attachment scans, is critical. The exam will test both your conceptual knowledge and practical application of hashing techniques across detection, response, and prevention use cases. Lastly, documentation is as important as detection. Analysts thoroughly document all hash actions during investigations, what tools were used, what hash values were generated, and what integrity outcomes were observed. These logs are used for internal reporting, compliance audits, and knowledge sharing. Documentation also supports future automation by providing templates for comparison scripts, update routines, or SIM correlation rules. CySA Plus scenarios may include documentation excerpts, and you may be asked to evaluate whether they contain sufficient detail or what information should be added. To conclude episode 40, hashing and file integrity techniques are indispensable tools in the analyst's workflow. Whether you're validating a forensic image, verifying software authenticity, detecting malware, or confirming the integrity of a backup, hashes give you a fast, reliable, and tamper-proof way to measure trust. When combined with FIM systems, SIMs, and threat intelligence feeds, these techniques become powerful defenses against unauthorized changes and malicious activity. Mastering them prepares you not only for the CySA Plus exam, but also for executing efficient, accurate, and trustworthy analysis in real-world security operations. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.